jokes. Like, make jokes about this serious shit. Make jokes, make fun of it, because it kind of takes the power away from it when you make fun and you joke and you laugh and you make it light.
When you're able to joke about something, there's a certain level of acceptance there, right?
Yeah, because you can't joke about it when it's like when you're not okay with it. Because you won't sell it. Like, as a comedian or as a funny person, you can't sell it when it's not real. We all know it, whether it's a song or like a performance. If somebody's not being authentic or really comfortable with their material, it's not fun to watch. It's fake. It's phoned in. It's not real, and it's not fun. Nobody enjoys it. But if you're comfy with it, like, you know, you can have a lot of fun with it, man. And it's good, and it takes the pressure off people that are horribly embarrassed by certain things, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote a book about it, and I was terrified to release it, and even just to my friends and family, but I had to. And it wasn't because I was like, oh, look at me and feel bad for me. It was like I felt fucking possessed. Like I had to do this, and it was cathartic, and I feel good that I did. And again, I had a lot, and I never even pushed it. I sold 1,000 copies out of the back of my truck, and then I kind of stopped, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of things happened in life that were contributing factors, but the point was it was the act of doing it that mattered more than making money from it or pushing it and trying to become some big time fucking author. You know what I mean?
Getting it out.
It was like, okay, that part of my soul's happy. You know, that thing it's like, yeah, it's filed, it's done, and it's there. And if I want to push it, it's there to push. You know.
What do you say about? I think that's been important for me, man. Is just listening to that. We all have it, that inner voice, right? That little gnawing. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? You got to do this. Go do this. Does listening to that voice help you?
Yeah, I think fear and love are the only things to talk about, really. Because to me, those are the big ones, and neither one of them is necessarily good or bad. You know, like we all look for something that's going to fulfill us. We all look for someone to love us. We all look for, to love ourselves, and especially creative people. I think that when you're looking at making a living doing something like that, it's a lot of weight, and that little voice is super important. That little voice probably saved my goddamn life. I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
That little voice, man, you know? So, and I know many times when I didn't listen to it, things didn't necessarily go great. So I think that's really important, your intuition and really, I think that's stuff we should be taught right in school. I think little kids should be meditating. I think little kids should be doing, don't get me started on teaching little kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know. I think that we need to learn how to communicate with our bodies a hell of a lot better. And unfortunately, in the mental health experience, when the first thing a lot of these doctors want to do is medicate you, which actually takes you away from your body, which makes you feel even more floating. You know, you're adrift.
Yeah.
And you're not grounded, which is, studies have shown that, people that exercise and meditate and get physical, they ground themselves. They have way better progress. They achieve mental health, positive mental health a lot quicker than people that just medicate and sit back and do nothing, you know?
Yeah, medication can be a bit of a Band-Aid. Right?
I'm not anti-medication, don't get me wrong. I think
it's an important part of the process.
I think it's if someone's not stable enough to recognize what is happening to them, I think absolutely, there's people that are so fucking like anti-medication that I think you paint yourself into a corner, and then because you might actually benefit from it, but you've taken this stance, and now you have to kind of stick with it because your ego's involved, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm the anti-medication guy. Well, if you've eaten fucking chocolate cakes for 35 years and became diabetic, you might be anti-medication, but you ate chocolate cakes for 35 years, man, and fucking double cheeseburgers, so, you know, you're going to have to take medication. But you did it to yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might be anti-medication, but that shit's going to help you. And stop eating those cakes, you fucking bastard. You know what I mean? But
did you ever take medication?
oh yeah, I took a bunch, and it didn't really. The only thing that really helped me was the like the like the downers, you know, like the Valiums and the Xanax and the heavy tranquilizers and stuff. Because the anxiety was just, and it's in my family, man. It's in everybody's family, I think. But to me, it was the not sleeping and stuff, and the panic attacks and the fucking nightmares and sleep is so important, you know. If you don't sleep, you can make anyone crazy if you just take sleep away. So I took medication till I started cancer treatment, and then I weaned myself off it because I wanted to be fully present for that. I felt like I needed to be really in touch with my body.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be all whacked out, you know what I mean? I needed to be present for that because I felt like I felt, it's weird. I just felt like I was in school. I felt like I was there to learn, you know?
Right.
And I wouldn't go to school drunk, like I've done it, but I wouldn't go to school all fucked up. And when you do that, if you take drugs and go to school, you're not there to learn. You're there to just get away from that, you know, and you're there to have a good time. But I actually wanted to learn something.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be I didn't want to forget what I was learning, you know? And I think that it's important, it was important to me to not be on medication. So I weaned myself off without any, you know, I was stupid how I did it, but I got myself off stuff, and actually I learned how to breathe for the first time. I learned how to breathe and really breathe. And that helped, you know?
Is that one of your coping mechanisms?
Oh yeah, breathing, deep breathing. Oh God, yeah. Like doing the 8s, you know? Breathe in for 8. Like I picture like a square, you know, you breathe in for 8 and you exhale for 8 and you breathe in for 8 and you exhale for 8, and that's 1. And then you breathe in for 8, exhale for 8, like 8 seconds. And it slows everything right down, you know? And you're introducing oxygen to your body, and you're not tense, and you're not sending the fight signals or flight signals. You're just breathing and you're settling down and you're calming. It's like if I want a horse to calm down, I don't scream at it, you know? I don't walk into the stall and start screaming at the fucking thing to calm down. It's like, if anyone, you know, you grab someone by the shoulder and scream at them to calm down, it's not gonna work, man. But if you grab, you know, gently kind of take someone by the hands and you're like, okay, all right, you know, just breathe, just slow down, you know, just slow down, calm down. They eventually will, or you gotta slap them. You know?
Snap out of it.
And I did that too. I used to have like these industrial rubber bands around my wrists, and every time I'd think of something make me anxious, I'd fucking snap that thing. It was like Pavlov's dog, you know, until I got so pissed off about the snapping that like it focused my attention in a different spot. Like I got so mad for snapping myself that I trained myself to not think about those things through snapping myself with a big fucking like lobster claw, you know what I mean?
Right.
Rubber band. So, but you do whatever works. You know, I remember being so anxious that if I drove in a car with the windows up, it looked like video screens. So I had to drive, no matter if it was winter or not, I had to have a window down with my arm out, or a window down, so I would know that I wasn't trapped in a box with video screens. You know, that's how high the anxiety was.
Really?
And consequently, driving made me feel calm because I was in control of something, right? So, oh yeah, it was crazy. It was totally crazy, you know?
What are some of your other coping mechanisms?
Coping skills: don't hang out with dickheads. Don't hang out with judgmental people, even if they're your own family. Sometimes a coping skill is to learn when to shut your mouth and not talk about stuff that's bugging you, because it's going to invite a whole bunch of criticism and attention that you don't want. Learning how to listen is a good coping skill. Like to other people, to yourself. Learning how to breathe is super important. Finding some kind of exercise that, you know, works for you. For me, it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Absolutely, to this day, helps me. Even though I haven't trained in a while. Well, I trained today, but you know what I mean? Moving away and stuff, I haven't been able to train. And it's absolutely affecting my mental health, like in a huge way. So exercise, music, writing, appreciating things, like breaking things down simply, situational awareness, like just like feeling your feet on the ground and all that kind of stuff, you know? Well, my whole life is just coping skills. Everything I do, getting a Timmy's with my girlfriend and getting a tea and going for a drive and watching waves come in and not talking is a coping skill, you know? Like it's
Stuff that makes you feel good.
anything that makes you feel good, man. Anything that gives you a little bit of relief, you know?